to running into all of this information about a plant-based whole foods diet, I think both my husband and I were typical Americans. We were fed all kinds of media information, right, left, indifferent. I didn't believe any of it, and I wasn't going to believe any of it. I was going to live my life the way I wanted to, which included all the fat, salt, and sugar that I could put in. And food tasted great that way, and I was learning to cook great things. I was gaining weight, which was concerning to me. So every year as I aged, I got a little bit heavier. I noticed that most of my friends also got a little bit heavier. It seemed like the standard. Where things changed is I got diagnosed with cancer. I got diagnosed with ovarian cancer. I had no history of cancer in my family. I did not expect this to come on. I'd been one of those people who were solid and healthy my whole life. I didn't get the flu. I didn't get colds. I never took a sick day at work. Easy going for me. So no problem. And then I get this diagnosis. Scary, very scary. My husband happens to be a research scientist, so he was also freaked out and scared. The first thing he does when he gets freaked out and scared is run to the research, which is what he did. He went immediately to look at what could be done about this. And he wasn't necessarily looking for nutrition. He was just looking across the board, what can we do here? And he ran across Dr. McDougall and that information. He ran across the China study and several other research papers. He wasn't about to just believe something because it was out there and written. He went back to the research papers, verified that it was research that was well done and it was concrete. It was real stuff. I remember I had a surgery for the tumor. They removed a 6-inch in diameter tumor. And when I finally got home from that surgery and I was starting to recover, it was shortly after the surgery, my husband walks home from work and he says, "Honey, we've got to go vegan. We have to have a whole foods plant-based diet." And I said, "Are you out of your mind? I'm from Wisconsin. I'm a cheesehead." And he said, "Honey, just do it with me for 30 days. 30 days, just do that with me for 30 days. And I thought, okay. And he said, "Honey, you can do anything for 30 days. I'm not going to make you do it past 30 days. And I said, okay, I'm going to do it for 30 days. Now, this had been a time before they had started chemotherapy on me, because when they had done the surgery at the hospital for my tumor, to remove my tumor, I had contracted C. diff, which is a very bad infection. And I needed to recover from that before I could go to chemotherapy treatment. After the surgery, and about the time we started on the whole foods plant-based diet, my marker was 750, my CA-125 marker. A normal marker in a normal person is anywhere between 10 and 30. During that 30 days we went on the whole foods plant-based diet, my CA-125 marker went down. It just continued to go down, and they were measuring it every week that I went in. It went from over 700 to that 30th day, it was 30. It was within the normal range in 30 days. I said, "Honey, okay, you got me. I'm in. I'm doing it." My oncologist convinced me that I still should try the chemotherapy. There could be this residual cancer running around my system. I needed to try the chemotherapy. So I went in, I did a dose of chemotherapy, and in 3 days after that dose of chemotherapy, I was in a wheelchair. I had such severe neuropathy in my hands and my feet, and I said, "You know what? I'm going with the whole foods plant-based diet. Skip your chemotherapy, not doing that." I also recovered from the neuropathy. It took several months to recover. I'm not 100% recovered from that, but close enough that it doesn't impact my life. My husband also went on this. We went into it in solidarity. He has high blood pressure, has had a history of high blood pressure. It runs in his family. His father had a stroke, I believe it was, from the high blood pressure that he had. So his blood pressure started to come down, but it didn't come down enough to go off medication. And we went to a McDougall seminar that happened in Tucson, Arizona. And at that McDougall seminar, we went up to Dr. McDougall to talk about this. You know, we just had just a little bit extra weight, and my husband just had this blood pressure that was still, he needed medication. And Dr. McDougall took one look at us and said, "You got to cut out the oil." And we looked at each other and said, "How did we not get that?" How did we not get that? So we completely cut out the oil, and he was able to come off his blood pressure medication. We lost additional pounds, and we have not felt better in our lives. There are times that I will look at my husband and I will say, "Honey, thank God I got cancer." Our lives are so much different as a result of going through this experience, and we feel, both of us, so much more healthy, energetic. We have so much more, we feel like we're 25 years younger at a minimum, and that has not gone away. So it's been 6 years since my diagnosis. We keep refining this, we keep getting better at it, we keep feeling stronger and healthier.